Welcome to What in the Actual Mental Health. You know what? We had like a whole intro and I forgot it now. And
Yeah,
a closing, and it's on my
100% don't know it, but we recorded
Maybe next time.
it. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Welcome to
Welcome
maybe
to
next time.
Maybe we'll have our shit together on episode 532 of it not happening.
1 year in. Oh, this is our 1 year anniversary together.
Oh, happy anniversary. Did you get me a gift? I mean, I'm your gift, so you're welcome.
Yeah, I think the gift you gave me was the check that you mutilated and that you gave to me.
Okay, I gave you 2 checks, and one was pristine.
Okay.
The other one did look like a fucking honey badger got a hold of
It was really bad. It was really bad.
Oh, bag of dicks.
Drink.
Yeah, drink, everybody. Okay, so today we're talking about what?
Okay. Unseen struggles and hidden battles.
She's made me read this 6 times, and every time I'm like, I don't know what we're doing.
I'm like, here's the thing. She's like,
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot today. Yeah.
most days.
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Okay.
So essentially, there's lots of it's like the premise of you act like everything's okay, or like, have you ever seen those reels like on Instagram? Okay. I know you've seen reels because I get 80 of them at night. And at night, I'm in between 6 and 9 p.m.
Because it's bedtime at 6 o'clock. They call that pebbling, and it's because I love you.
They call it what?
Pebbling.
Pebbling. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
leave like little pebbles for your people.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
So, have you ever seen the reels where it's like, this is what depression looks like? And then it's like a bunch of little snippets of people like smiling and dancing and laughing in front of the camera and all that. And like behind the camera or like behind that mask, they're like super depressed. They don't want to get out of bed. They're like high functioning.
Yeah.
They're very masky.
Yeah.
So that's what the premise is today. And I'm sure that if you are 10 years old or more than 10 years old, like you.
Yes. But I'm still younger than you.
Never. Then you've done that at some point where you're like, on the outside, I'm fine and I'm really good and happy and life's so fucking great. And then you're like dying slowly on the inside.
Yeah.
That's kind of the premise of the things today.
So we're talking about every day of my life.
No, not every day. Just like 363 of those days.
Yeah, only 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, just when I'm in bed from 6 to 9 p.m. Happiest time of my life. You know what's funny is that I can definitely think of lots of times I've done that. I don't think I do it as much now. I think I'm better about it now.
Yeah, same.
I think I just am at a point where I'm old enough to be like, you know what, I don't feel like this. Fuck this shit. I don't really care. I'm like, if it hurts somebody's feelings or they take it as, me being like irreverent, I'm just like, whatever. No, no fucks.
No, you're right. Because irreverent means you don't give a fuck about other people or what they think, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No
Well,
cares. No cares.
No cares.
No.
0 of cares.
0 soul.
So we know that you don't have a soul.
I don't. I sold it.
What do you think are some misconceptions around people that have depression? Like, what does depression look like? Or what should it look like, I should say?
I think typically what people think it is that it's like you're in bed, you haven't showered in a month, like the lights are off, the blinds are closed, you're not talking to anybody, you're not going anywhere, you're just like in your own little cocoon of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing is that you would be obviously sad or obviously very like distraught, which is why it's such a misnomer, and why when people are really good, and that's what also makes it really difficult when people are like, oh, it's like I'm bipolar. And it's like, yeah, I hear you, but that's not correct, right? Like these things get these really misnomers on what they look like. Because movies typically, right? TV makes it look that way. When it's not always that, right? You can be super sad and feel like you're walking through quicksand while you're literally at work running a company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot trickier than that.
Yeah, like I think the biggest example of that is Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I always bring him up, and like maybe if you're really young, you don't know who Robin Williams is, but you're old like Rebecca, you definitely know.
I was out when Aladdin came out.
I was out when
I was
Aladdin
out in the world. Boop, came right out, ready to go.
On my magic,
Just like the genie. Boop, boop. Yeah. No, and it is, and I give that example a lot too. And what's really interesting about that is I didn't know until I had done a training about depression and suicide that the day he killed himself, he actually had dinner plans with one of his very best friends, and he had called her the night before and was like, "Hey, are we still on?" And she's like, "Oh yeah," and he was all excited. "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." and then he killed himself.
That's wild. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. And that's why it's so, I think it's hard for, especially like with like us, with our interns, like when we're training them and we talk about like these safety plans that we do for people who are suicidal or if they're self-harming, and of course, like especially when you're a very young clinician or young to any of these kind of mental health issues, it's terrifying because you're like, what if this happens? What if that? And I'm like, I hear you. And I wish it was black and white and that I could give you this is exactly what it's going to look like and you're going to do this and then they're going to go home and everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's like if somebody's in that space, they're in that space and it's really difficult to convince them otherwise, and like, did you ever watch that video of the guy that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived?
No.
So there's I'll have to find his name. He does like tours. I think he's written a book, but he does tours all over talking, especially to young people. He had a variety of mental health issues. I think he was also bipolar. I'm not 100% sure, so don't fucking come for me, but I know he had some mental health issues. And he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he said the second his feet left, he was like, oh, I fucked up. I don't want to do this. This is a really bad idea. And he hit the water and like shattered like every bone practically in his body, and it didn't kill him. And so he goes around and he talks about it, and he said, he's like, it would not have mattered if the people that I love the most were standing there telling me not to do it. He's like, in that moment, I would have done it. I would have been like, I'm done. And all of his family said that they didn't think he was that bad off.
That bad, yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't just sleeping all day and not showering.
Yeah.
He was very much masking it and just going about life, but being very miserable. And that's what makes it so scary, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I know. It's wild to think like how many people are just like walking around with like this almost seemingly like what should be like debilitating depression, and we're just out here like functioning, just like living our lives.
Yeah. Or then you tell somebody, you're like, yeah, it was really shitty, and and they're looking at you and you're like, no, that's all right, I'll go home.
Yeah, you're like,
that's not normal. That's not what you're doing every day.
Yeah, right. Like,
which is how I feel about anxiety, because depression hasn't ever really been like my jam necessarily. But anxiety,
I think it's because you're so anxious, you don't have time to be depressed.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, oh my God, I got to worry about all this fucking shit. I don't have time to be sad. I have all these other things.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, Rebecca.
But it is like I've always been. I think I was probably anxious when I came out to see the movie Aladdin.
When you say probably, you mean you were anxious?
Yeah, I probably came out and told the doctor what they were doing wrong.
Yeah,
and then got worried about it. Yeah, 100%.
You're like, I think I should be.
I think I should cut that. Thank you. Snip, snip. Like, don't. You're gonna fuck it up, sir. Your medical degree means nothing.
Nothing.
But yeah, I think anxiety, that one's interesting for me, because my husband is the least anxious human being on the fucking planet. And I'll like look at him and I'm like, I wonder if he's having like all these thoughts, and I'm like, what are you thinking about? And he's like, what?
It's like trees.
Yeah, and he's like, I was just thinking about my worms and my dirt. And I'm like, wow, I literally was wondering if like cancer is entering my soul and eating my ass right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't where I was.
Yeah. My dad said one time, this was like, oh gosh, maybe it was like 15, so like 20 something years ago.
Or 30.
I hate your face.
I told you I'm your gift. 1 year, motherfucker.
Anyways.
I get you a bag of dicks for your 1 year anniversary.
Damn, that's what you should have gotten.
I know.
Missed opportunity.
Well, not necessarily.
Oh, well.
I'll wait for your Alzheimer's to kick in when you
Oh my
forget to
God,
order it.
that's great.
Anyways, you're dad.
So my dad, one time we were in the car, I was in the back seat, and we're driving like in a neighborhood, and my dad like asked my mom, he's like, what you thinking? And she fucking like, oh, I was thinking about this white car, and then the white car made me think about the white eggs, and this made me think about that, and blah, 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 blah. And like for 5 minutes she like goes on and on and on, and I'll never forget, he looked at her like, I don't know. Wow. I was just thinking that the name of the road we were on was Bayer. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like that is so funny, because I'm like, that is like how I picture you and Angela.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because my mom is like, she is like a little chihuahua, just like always crazy anxious.
Yeah.
And my dad like had some anxiety, but he was definitely more like calming. He was like the sedative on her.
Yeah.
And now that he's gone, there's no fucking
that.
sedative. So she's just like all the time, which is, it's a lot.
That's why Angela's not allowed to die first. I mean, I don't have a colon, so it's 100% likely I'll go first.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, fuck, if he wasn't around, yeah. Yeah, because he's very like, I'm like, hey, we gotta get it. She's like, are you good? Yeah, I think good. Don't need to worry about that. And I'm like, we have to worry about it, all of it.
You're like, where are the Tupperware lids right now? And you're like, he's like, we're fucking in Alaska. Why does it fucking matter where the Tupperware lids are?
And I'm like, because the things need to happen and we have to do all the, yeah, it is. And that's what makes it, and I think that's what makes it so funny for him even sometimes, because he'll just look at me and he's like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, wow.
He's like, the fuck you are?
He's like, I don't think that's accurate at all.
I think you're lying to my face.
Yeah.
And I thought you loved me.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it's rough. Because you also, like, you get so used to it, too. You're just like, it's like this all the time for everybody. And it's funny because I just saw a meme, like you were talking about, where they were saying, like, not everybody has a narrative going on constantly in their head, like telling a story. And I was like, that's weird. That seems sad.
Do you get lonely?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, are you all like lonely and shit?
What do you fucking do?
Yeah, like what's going on? It's just like
no, it doesn't make noise. That's the whole point.
That's what makes it worse.
Yeah, it's just like this. Well, it's not like
terrible.
that. You have to stop with the talking.
Ugh, that's terrible. It sounds like a fucking ripoff.
And what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you have thoughts? Where do they go all day?
I think you just have thoughts when you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's like it,
But I think too, like, I mean, I guess that's the other part of like the masking stuff too, is that you learn to mask your anxiety as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, everything's fine. And in my head, I'm like, everything's on fire. We're all gonna fucking die. All the time.
You choke on your
I
spit?
did, because I'm so funny.
Is that? That's an autistic thing.
To choke on your spit? No wonder. God, I do it all the time.
Yeah,
it's
Mike
like
once a day.
hairball.
My husband once a day.
Oh, that makes
So
so much sense.
usually
Why are
more
we
than
so
that.
fucked?
And his daughter does it too.
Oh yeah.
And like we'll be in our rooms, like where he and I are like at the end of the night, like we both like we'll leave our doors open and she kind of wanders back and forth.
Yeah.
She comes in, tells us a story, and goes in her room for a while and comes back and has a little jiggity jig.
She does her own little pebbling.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She absolutely pebbles.
Yeah.
So she will be in her room and our doors will be open and she's like and he's like, choke on your spit? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
It's hard. Autisms are hard, man. You fucking almost die all the time.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
That's the only reason it's hard. Yes.
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 So it's funny. So I don't know if I'm definitely not nearly as anxious as you.
No.
No,
I'm definitely
really
winning
is.
that fucking category.
Yeah.
If it was a pageant, I'd be fucking elbow, wrist.
If it were a
that fucking
certification.
crown. Oh my God, that'd be great.
Yeah.
God, I would rock that certification. You'd just be like continually revamping it on my wall all the fucking time.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that for everyone.
Yeah, it's real enjoyable for me as well.
So, I think so. There's like this little prompt that says, why does productivity feel like a lifeline? The link between anxiety and overworking. And I look at your face because that's exactly what it is. How does productivity serve as a coping mechanism for anxiety? Close your mouth because we're recording now.
How does productivity act as a coping mechanism?
Yeah, because I 100% can tell you that
Yeah.
the more anxious you are, the quote unquote more productive you
Yeah,
are.
for sure. Well, okay, let's do this first because people get this mixed up a lot. And I have to have this conversation with my interns a lot too. Is there's a very big difference between a coping mechanism and a coping skill.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't always know this. So I'm going to educate this for somebody who may not know. Is that mechanisms, although they may work, they are not beneficial to you. So things like cutting, having sex with strangers, drinking, drugs, those can be mechanisms because they do work for a time, but they are not beneficial to you. Whereas a skill, that is a long-term thing that will work for you and is in a healthy way. Also, skills take a lot longer to learn, which is why mechanisms feel better because they're very quick. They're very fast to reward you, whereas skills take fucking forever and it's exhausting. So just so everybody knows.
So you're saying that you being productive is a coping skill?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck me. Okay.
No,
No, I wasn't saying I was doing it right.
No, I was not absolutely saying I'm on the right track. In no way, shape, or form at all.
I love that.
No, I would definitely have to say it's hard. I think it's hard because too, here's the other fun part about productivity is where does that start to bleed into like the perfectionism? Because I think also, again, right, that is another coping mechanism, right? If I'm perfect, everything's fine, everything's good, and I feel like I don't have to worry as much, which is obviously as much bullshit as being productive all the time and wearing yourself into a nub. I think where it gets hard for me personally is that I come from a family, especially the women in my family, who very much associate their worth with their job or the job that they are doing. So if you are not good at your job, if you do not do your job till it kills you, your worth is not there.
Right.
And so I think for me personally, that's difficult because I very much have been always taught to put my all into my job, not my family, not myself, but into my job, because that is where my worth is. And so it's a very difficult line of not only it being like a coping mechanism of like, oh, I'm anxious and I'm already worried about all the things and I might as well do all the work, but also that's where my worth comes from because that's what I was taught. So that's where that gets like a hard answer for me.
That's a bummer.
It is. It sucks. It's super shitty. It's horrible. And, you know, and it's interesting because, like, you know, my son, he works with me, right? In the summer, 1 day a week, he works with me. But I try very hard to, like, find ways for work to be something that, you know, gives him value in a different way than just, oh, you're good at this job. And so you're getting rewarded because you're good at your job. But also, you know, do you feel good about it? Are there things that you're learning about yourself in your job and then the things that you do no matter what you do? Because I don't ever want him to walk away with that, you know? 'Cause it's shitty. It feels like shit. Because then when your job doesn't go well or like you're the workhorse so people abuse you. Because that's the other crappy thing is I've had a ton of jobs where I'm a fucking workhorse. So they think they own me or they abuse me while I work there. Because
like, yeah, Rebecca can do it. Oh, she can do that.
Exactly.
Oh, she'll do this.
And I'm like,
she'll do
okay.
that.
I sure will. Dumbass, you know? And it's funny because like, there's that book, Animal Farm, and there's a horse in the book, and that's exactly what happens to him. He like fucking kills himself working to death. And I'm like, oh, I'm that fucking horse. Great.
No, what the fuck did you...
I don't know. It was like a sheep or a goat or both. Is that better?
Oh my god. Now you just sound like a weird car. Boom.
I don't know. It's a hard day, you know? I'm tired.
We listen back to all of our pods. Regularly, you would say it's a hard day.
It's a hard day, and everyone's like, fuck, every day. And I'm like,
every day is a hard day for Rebecca.
Yeah, fuck, I have the disms, I have all the things.
So what about emotional numbness?
I don't even know what the fuck that would be.
No?
No. Again, this is like the not having a narrative. Like, what the, what?
I've definitely been numb. I think the only time that I've been numb...
like you just don't feel the feels?
Maybe twice. No, it's so weird. I mean, and maybe this isn't, but at least to me, it was like, you don't feel the feels? I just didn't.
Because I'm feeling them for you.
Yeah, I
right
fucking
now.
know. I know. I could feel it from you.
That's why it's such a hard day.
It's always hard.
Yeah.
So when my dad died, it was like, I went into survival mode, and so like I just didn't fucking never came out.
Yeah, still not crying. 1 year later, still working on everybody.
Fuck off. I teared up at my wedding.
Yeah, and then she was like, sucked it back in.
I hope I didn't look like that.
That's exactly what it looked like. I was like, oh, I missed that photo opportunity.
It's such a weird transition now. But when my dad died, I definitely, I went into survival mode. I just like had to get things done. But then it was like, I would have like conversations, for example, with my husband at the time, and something would be like upsetting to him, and I would be like, like, you know, like I just was like, okay,
I think I know what you mean.
or like,
Because I do that a lot.
I will never forget. So, but this was like 2 days after my dad died, and his parents were in town. They flew out, not for my dad, like, but just like, coincidentally, they flew in on the day that my dad died.
Oh, shit.
Bizarre. But anyway, and that was like a whole fucking shit show on its own.
Right.
So we go out to dinner, and his mom was mostly Spanish speaking and had dementia.
Oh.
And so she would struggle sometimes earlier on, like to get her emotions like out. And I was just very much like, I was literally just a fucking body.
Yeah.
Like I was like not present at all, whatever. And like I had grabbed something, she was sitting next to me, and I had grabbed something and like went to order something and just like, yeah, I like wasn't even there. But I remember so vividly, my husband at the time was like, she thinks you're mad at her because you didn't do something or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care at all.
Yeah.
Like,
zero fucks.
I don't feel bad for the fact that she is slightly upset because she's potentially offended me or that I'm mad at her, and my fucking dad is like in the ground. Like, but I was like, nope, I don't have any emotion toward that at all.
Yeah.
And very frequently I would like experience that where I was like, I feel nothing. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But that's the first time that like happened, and obviously it didn't have anything to do with her or even my husband at the time or like the scenario or anything. It was just like the moment in my life where I was, and just like reliving my dad's like incredibly traumatic death, like over and over and over and over again, and like just not even being present, and there was no emotion.
Yeah.
And then I think when I left my ex-husband, I felt very like.
Just kind of
and I don't know if it's numb maybe, but I just was like
cut off.
I know, I just was no longer picking up those emotions. And so he was like weeping in front of me, and I just was like
I gotta go.
I was like, are we done?
Yeah. Do you need a break? Because I do.
It was so weird because he was not a crier, and in that relationship I had cried.
Not anymore, motherfuckers.
Yeah, not in years, but I would have expected, like any other time, that's also a way that I knew that I was like done, is that like his hurt didn't feel the same. Like, not that it didn't hurt me, because it was a terrible, like I felt awful that he was so sad and he was like so broken, and, but then I also was just like
investment
but I also just like I got nothing. Like like it's so weird. And he used to say that I was like a robot, that I would just like shut off my emotions, and it was, I don't know if that's compartmentalizing.
Well, I think sometimes though too, it's like when you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
Because I've been like that with people where it's like, if I'm done, I'm done, and like that's why I always like when somebody's like, if I like cut someone off, that's it. Like I don't ever go back. I don't ever change that. It's just like I'm done.
I'm not that. I'm very messy. I'm like fucking peanut butter and jelly with every fucking relationship. Yeah, I'm very peanut butter and jelly.
I'm very, you're like dead, light and fire.
Well, yeah, because you hate humans.
Yeah, but it takes me a while to get there with certain people. So some more than others, where it just like takes me a while. But then once I'm there, I'm like, good fucking luck. And I don't even know what it would look like to be like, oh, I forgive you. No.
Yeah, I seriously, I'm still very much like emotionally invested in a lot of people.
Yeah.
That like I shouldn't be. Not like that I like am crossing lines kind of thing, but like there'd be no fucking reason why I should be like, oh, that sucks that your dog died, or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
See, but I think there's a place too where, and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just like doing therapy as long as I have, and being in law enforcement, I've gotten in a place where I'm really good at like kind of compartmentalizing it. So like people will tell me something really sad and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Anyways, and then it's like in my mind, I don't ever say it out loud, but in my mind, I'm like,
have you always been like that?
I don't know. I mean, it feels like it because I just
autism thing.
Yeah, because it's just like
we're just
done.
Well, you also don't bond emotionally the same. So like sense. It doesn't affect you the same.
Yeah, because people will be like devastated about something, and I'm like, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to do with that, and it's like,
well, a lot of times, particularly in women, if you like show that type of lack of emotion, you're like, I mean, considered a bitch, but like a narcissist, or you're like just more involved in, or you really care more about yourself, like you're more selfish or whatever, because you just don't like emotionally attach.
Yeah.
So sometimes autism can be like confused with like narcissism because
Yeah.
you don't attach.
Because there's like that coldness.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
very cold.
Yeah, I've watched like when I do those assessments for kids for the autism stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so funny because one of the questions is always like how much of their conversation is reciprocal. Whereas if I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I really like that game too, and they're like, huh? Anyways, and they just cut it right there, and that's exactly why, because there's just not this like bonding
Yeah.
that you would do with most people. Where you're like, oh really? But then that's why it's so funny too with the tism of like when somebody shares something and you're like, I have that too, and then you get real excited and then you share and then you feel like a dick because you're like, I didn't mean to make that about me, but like I had one thing I could fucking latch onto you with. And I had to do it right now.
It's just the only social cue I understand.
Yeah.
Let me have it.
Let me have this fucking one time, you know? And I feel bad because people will be telling me a story and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, fuck, I just told my story over yours and I'm so sorry. But I think too, like, when I think about being little, I think like being an emotional human being, I think I was really only allowed, or I felt like I was only really allowed to do that with my grandfather, my papa. Because he would very much, like, he had the patience for me like no one else other than literally my husband, which is why I always joke that, like, him and my grandfather would have been two peas in a pod. Because, like, the patience that they both have for me is fucking sainthood. And, Jesus. But I can remember, like, I remember there was this one time I was spinning in the living room, and my grandfather, they had just bought, like, brand new carpet. And it was, like, a real light color. And I had red Kool-Aid in a cup, and I was spinning. Wee, look at me, I'm a princess. And it fucking just shot everywhere.
I would have fucking
Yeah. And I like stopped and I looked at him and I was like, there was a rainbow, like super excited. And he was just like, yeah, there was. And like didn't rip my ass, like wasn't mad at me, was just like, yeah, that was a rainbow. And it was like, there was nothing. Like he wasn't mad, he wasn't. And I can remember him being like that always with me. And so I think I also very much learned with the vast majority of people is that you just don't have a lot of emotion. You just nip it in the bud. Tuck it in. Tuck and roll, bitches.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have responded that way.
Yeah, I don't think most people, I don't know that even I would now, even knowing that piece of me, if my son did it, I would be like, fuck.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I but maybe I wouldn't because like I watch Osiris because he's ADHD as fuck. So he bangs into shit, not shit over constantly. He has like no interoception. Yeah, nothing. And I'm a little bit more where I just am like, fuck it. If it lights on fire, it lights on fire. And maybe that's a piece of Papa, teaching me that. Maybe, I don't know. But I just remember like my grandmother, she's one of 12. So you didn't really have time for the feels. Like you were just like, you didn't die today on a farm? Cool, fucking that's it. Rub dirt in it, let's go. And then, so Papa was really the place where I could have like the sadness, or if anything, literally anything was wrong in my life, he would take me to McDonald's for breakfast. And by the time we were done, my life was perfect. So that's just, so that was the only place I think I ever felt like you could be emotional and it would be okay. So I don't know. So I don't know if maybe that's what caused like the emotional cut offness. But the odd thing of that is like, I feel all the feels and I feel everybody's.
Yeah, that is
all
weird.
The time. And it is exhausting. And that's why there are certain people I'm like, absolutely not. You cannot be around that person. They have to fuck right off.
You're sucking all of it from
Yeah,
them.
I'm like, I hate everything about you. And everyone's like, you just met them. I'm like, they're the devil.
You're like, no, that's why I hate them.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know, trust me, they need to fuck off. And I'm always right, just for the record. Yet to be wrong on that one. So there's my emotional numbness.
That's not numbness.
No, it's not.
There's no, mine is numb.
Mine is only numb when it's someone else's. And not their energy.
That's not. It's not the same thing.
And the
Oh my God.
dyslexia.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm going to drink down my slack.
Great. Mental health in overachievers. The dark side of success. Mental health struggles and overachievers. How does the pressure to succeed impact your mental health? And have you ever felt trapped by your own expectations?
Every day.
All the time.
All the time. 5 minutes ago.
Right now.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Like there's no other way, but yeah.
No, but the
all the above. All the above.
You can't select all the pie. How does the pressure to succeed impact mental health?
Sucks the life out of you.
And you said yes.
Because that is my yes. Sucks it right out of you. Right out of your ass.
Nice. Right out of that.
Yeah, right out of
Well,
there.
when you don't have a colon, it's...
Yeah, it's even closer to just, it's a little faster. You're welcome, everybody, for that.
So good.
Yeah, it fucks with your mental health. Like, that's a dumb question.
No, it says, how does it?
It's exhausting. It's like a literal fucking hamster on a wheel. Ting, 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 all day, every day, while I sleep, the minute I wake up, is what it feels like. All the time. Every day.
Where does... I'm just going to move on because I'm like, you're the little hamster.
Like, you can hear him if I sit here quiet enough.
Which you don't ever.
You can know. That's why, because then you'll hear it.
Because I tried to, I was like, it's like this, and you're like, that's awful. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Where does the constant need to achieve come from?
Oh, that's like the perfectionism shit, probably.
Well, why?
Where does the perfectionism come from?
No, where, okay, again, ready?
No, I'm not. Not even close. What is wrong with you? Why are you the way you are?
Me? You can't even answer a fucking question.
Oh, there's too many questions.
There's,
Too many.
where does the constant need to achieve come from?
So I can be amazing.
Why
I
do you have
need to be amazing.
Why?
Because then my little hamster gets fed.
Why does your hamster have to get fed all the time?
Oh. I don't know. Maybe because, I don't know.
Do some fucking deep digging here, Rebecca.
How often in your life,
How often are you supposed to feed a hamster?
how often in your life, like, do you remember being told, like, that you were magical and great?
A lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, my dad.
Not on
all
this
the
side.
time. You're right.
Not on this side. So, the way for us in my family, again, right, the way that you show your magicalness is by how hard you can work and what can you achieve and what can you do, right? And so, like, I was the first one to go to college, so I was the most magical because I was like, oh, I was the first one that went to college, even though I literally fucking almost killed myself my first year because I was so miserable and I fucking failed out hard. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and no one knew I was dyslexic till I got to college. It was a disaster. It was a fucking shit show. But I think it's just, I don't know, like, how else do you know you're magical? My certificates tell me.
No, the fuck I don't, because you don't put them up on the wall.
I did this year.
This year. How old are you? 50?
105 in my soul. I'm like a fucking Galapagos tortoise.
That's true.
Ting, 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 ting.
Well, that's so funny that you said it, because then the next question says, how can you learn to separate your self-worth from your accomplishments?
You can't.
Yes, you can.
Fucked.
So is that saying, so I don't have nearly as many accomplishments as you do. Does that mean that I'm not, like, as worthy of some cool thing as you?
No, because
Well,
you
then
have
how-
a ton.
Okay, but
No, but you know what's ironic is that I didn't want to put my certificates up. You guys made me.
yes.
And every time I look at them, they make me uncomfortable. So that's like the tricky part is it's like you can do all these things and achieve all this stuff. But deep in your soul, if you don't think you're worthy of it, then it doesn't fucking matter. And then that feels yucky.
It's so funny. I wish Mike was here because my husband has well over 50 awards.
Yeah. And he acts like he like works at McDonald's.
Yes.
No offense, McDonald's. But yeah, he's like,
No
oh,
offense,
I
McDonald's.
mean, I kind of do like some chef stuff. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm pretty sure it's more than that, motherfucker. But then when I say it out loud, I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
He literally, like, he's always, like, going for the next award or doing that. He's, like, come a long way, like, just even since we started, like, since we got together, like, 3 years ago. But
Yeah.
he's a lot like that, too.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. He has fucking a bazillion awards. If you Google him,
Oh, yeah.
he's fucking
like all over.
famous. Yeah. He's been on, like, national TV, all this stuff, and he's, like,
Well, and that's the thing too, is that he's a lot like me, where like if people are like, hey, you did great today, he's like, I'm uncomfortable and I have to get the fuck out of here right now. And I'm like, same, let's go. Pack your
Back
shit.
door, back door.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I got the fucking car running.
I know, you guys, like, we have, like, a little escape route in the
Yeah,
back for you guys.
Yeah, because I hate it. I had to meet with this lady the other day and she was saying something. She's like, oh, I think you're really impressive. And I was like, I fucking have to get the fuck out of here right now. I have to go. I was like, and I must have like made some sort
have
of
to
glitch
go.
because she looked at me and she's like, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. And I was like, I couldn't be more uncomfortable than I am right now with you, ma'am. And I was like, that's so shitty, because I was like, ugh.
You're the worst.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. And that's why it's like, you can have all these certificates, but it is, I mean, I don't know. And it's not like I think like my family isn't proud of me. And like, I know, and it's probably easier, like you said, with Mike. It's easier right now with my husband because he's very proud of me. And it's, I don't know, maybe there's like an authenticity of it, the way you are with Mike and the way he is with me, that like when he's proud of me, it feels good. It feels like I'm like, oh, I did something. I'm a winner, you know? And then other people do it and I'm like, I am going to vomit in my mouth. So maybe that's what it is. It's like, also it's probably a trust thing too, is that I trust that he would tell me if I sucked or not, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I wonder too if it's like you trust that we would tell you suck, but then you also trust that we're legitimately proud of you. Like we're not just saying it to get something from you or like, you know, whatever it is. It's
Right.
like a legit, it's an authentic believe in you kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even like the last 3 years of like starting my own business, starting the nonprofit, doing the things, you know, he'll always say, he's like, man, it's like you got shot out of a cannon. And I'm like, it's not that. It's that for the first time in my life, I had someone who believed in me in a very true and realistic way of like, you can do this. And even if, because of course, as an anxious human, you're like, I'm going to fucking die and I'm going to do this wrong and everyone's going to hate you and all the things. But he was always very much like, even if it goes to shit, I'll still be right here. We'll still figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay, fuck it. And then I did all the things and I think I've done them fairly well. I mean, I haven't fucked them up completely. And so.
Yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking early in the years, especially this one. But I think that's part of it, is that he very much believed in me in a way that, you know, is very rare for me. Very, very rare. So it doesn't feel yucky when he's proud of me. Everyone else makes my butt sweat, but you know, that's fine.
You don't sweat.
I don't. I really don't. So it just makes it sticky.
So this is it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sloth time.
Sloth.
Yeah.
All right. So the statement or the phrase that we say quite frequently, which is like a terrible mindset, is like, I'll rest like when I'm dead, or I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Oh yeah.
So what would happen if you actually allowed yourself to rest before you deserved it?
I will say, okay, everyone, take some fucking notes. I have been napping a little more. Yeah, a little resty rest time, which I never napped before, ever, unless I was sick or I was going to die. So can that count?
No.
That's the worst.
No, because I mean, like resting, like, oh, I'm not gonna work today or tonight. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna watch some trashy TV and eat.
I mean, the other day I went down the documentary rabbit hole.
That's true, you did.
Yeah, and I've been on it for a little while. I got some new ones for you when we're done.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, you're gonna love it. I actually told Mike about that. I was like, this fucking bitch never watches TV at all. And she's like, I watched 87 hours of TV. And I'm like, cool, we had a whole fucking pod about it.
Seriously, and then I won't watch TV again for the rest of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of it, is that I'll rest, and I'll rest hard one time a year, and then that's and then you won't see it again until next year.
That is not how that works. See,
It's not.
You have yet to take, we talked about this early, or probably like summer last year, you have yet to take a relaxing vacation. Yeah, close your mouth.
Yeah.
It's wide open.
It's catching the relaxations.
Yeah, is that what it is? Because those aren't in here. They're like, is Rebecca in here? We don't hang out.
They're like, turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I definitely, maybe in October. Yeah, maybe in October.
That's behind the mask.
Maybe November.
Yeah, you fucking tell me when. Go ahead.
Maybe next year. Aiming for 2026.
That's what you said last year was about 2025.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes we make mistakes. Let me make it. Well, I don't, so like, what does that even look like? Like I just
That
go
looks like
somewhere
don't
and
fucking plan shit. Just like have one thing a day. Okay, so like when Mike and I went to Hawaii, we didn't even know we were going to Hawaii till the week before.
Oh, that makes me so
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
so the year before, Southwest like fucked up our flights and they gave us $200 vouchers, each of us, because they had to like deplane us and all this stuff. Totally forgot about them. Something made me think of it, and this was like the beginning of June last year. And I was
The
like,
fact that you forgot about that blows my mind alone. But keep going.
yeah, well, I also did like 800 other things
Same.
last year.
Fucking same.
Yeah,
I still
but
tell you exactly where everything is located.
what, Well, no, it was just like an email.
Yeah, I could tell you exactly where that bucket is.
Yes.
Is.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. We got to use these things. And we were planning a family vacation in July.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh fuck, we should see if we can use them. And then it was like, you have to use them by the end of June, not book it. And we were like, oh no.
We fucked up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck that up. So I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to go on another trip. And I was like, oh, we could go see my friends Ron and Heather, the ones that live in Florida. And I was like, that'd be so cool. We could just go and see them for like a long weekend or whatever. And then I looked up flights and all that. It was going to be like $3,500 to fly and like just
Florida's
Florida.
insane. They're insane. Yeah. Why? What the fuck is, it's just alligators.
Right. So
and
it was cheaper. We did $2,500 round trip with an Airbnb and a rental car for $2,400 to Hawaii. So that's why we went. Because I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
So we go and we were like, hey, we're not gonna fucking plan anything. We're just gonna go, we're gonna sleep when we want, we're gonna eat when we want, we're gonna just do like one thing a day. We went to the beach one day, did the road to Hana one day. It was so fucking relaxing. We came back engaged, but that was like a whole different thing. But we didn't plan anything. It was very relaxing. We didn't have to be anywhere at a certain time. We didn't have to do anything at a certain time. It was just like being present with each other. Does that make you sick inside a little bit? Yeah. So that's what I mean.
I mean, I didn't plan like a whole bunch on this last trip. I was just like, we're gonna go, and then we're gonna get there, and then we got there. I mean, I did look some things up. Yeah. I also had a 10-year-old with me though. That's different. Like you can't not plan when you're.
It's not true.
No. Have you've met my son?
You've met my kids.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead. I have 3 of them. We took fucking 3 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do things in a relaxing manner that's still enjoyable. But that's what I mean is you just got to be like, go with the flowy, and you're very like, fucking rigid.
Here's what's so funny is that I have this last year, my husband very much was like, okay, I'm gonna pick a Saturday, and you're not gonna plan it. Like we're just gonna go. It's like I'm gonna plan it all day, and I'm like, okay. Here we go. And so like we wake up and I'm like, what are we doing? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you yet. And I'm like, you have no fucking clue, do you? And he's like, absolutely not. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. Because I'm like, what do I have to wear? He's like, just put some clothes on. And I'm like, oh my God. And it actually was a shit ton of fun. And we do it every now and then. Every now and then. I let him. No, I'm just kidding.
Every now and then. Like once a quarter.
Yeah, once every like 90 days. I'm like, okay, you get your Saturday. And that's it for half an hour.
Hours. That's all you're awake in. It's just 8 hours.
Yeah, because I gotta take a nap. Because now I nap.
Now you nap.
But I mean, it is kind of fun actually when he does it. But we're also home, and that feels less scary. Whereas like if I'm gonna like go out of town and just be like, let me freeball it.
We didn't plan anything on our honeymoon either. We just planned it when we got there. In Costa Rica, I was like, hey, I think maybe we should.
See, and I think part of it for me is I'm like, I'm gonna make this fucking trip worth every penny that we're gonna spend. So we're gonna fucking jam everything in there.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because then you come home tired.
Well, but I got our money's worth.
But then you come home tired.
Well,
which is not a vacation. That's like a fucking to-do list in another state.
Check, motherfuckers.
That's what I mean.
But I'm always the one that when everyone's like, oh, we have a trip, can you plan it for us? Fuck yeah, I can. I'm also a certified travel agent. I also have that certification because
like I hate it here. Someone come get me.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, because I'll plan the shit and you're gonna love your trip. God damn it.
You're gonna love your trip.
You're gonna love it. I'm so tired.
So exactly. So what I'm hearing you say is no, you do not allow yourself to rest before your body crashes.
No, and I already died once, so I think we can check that off of like I'll rest when I die. It's done.
Because you didn't actually rest.
I did not. I like came right back and then harder than ever before. So double down on that.
Skip on this
devil.
Here. Okay.
Not today, Satan.
Well, there it is. The pressure to always be productive. The productivity trap. Why always doing more isn't always better.
Okay, but hold on. Let's just take a moment here.
Okay, here we go. Let's fuck it up.
Let's fuck this up for a second, okay? Because here's the other fucking thing, is that people are always like, oh, you shouldn't multitask. Valid for some people, but not for me. I'm a phenomenal multitasker, and everyone will account to this that loves me. So don't even give me that face. If you love me and you know it's true, is that I multitask like a motherfucker, and I'm very good at it, and it brings me joy. So I think and they have done studies that there's like 1% of people that actually are good multitaskers, and that's about it. Everyone else shouldn't multitask because it's not very healthy for you. So fuck off, because maybe I'm also one of the percent that's very good at being productive and does well with it.
Can I finish this now?
Sloth time. Yeah.
Because it says,
this is my spirit animal. How can this not
that
be
is
my
not
spirit
your fucking
animal?
spirit animal. That's it. You hoped it was your spirit animal. Instead, it's a fucking like chihuahua.
Yeah. Fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Because the prompt here says, at what point did you realize that constantly being busy wasn't actually making you happy? Nothing to do with fucking multitasking.
But I am happy.
New ass hat. All the time you're happy? Close your mouth.
That's the thing. I think better with my mouth open.
Is that what it is?
That's what he says.
Oh,
You're welcome.
dang.
Yeah. Take your kids home.
Take your
Oh, so good.
Take your kids home.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty fucking happy all the time. No, not all the time, because that's toxic positivity. I'm not always happy. Like when I'm driving, I'm not fucking happy. And I'm at Costco, not super happy.
Oh, Costco's
That's fucking Walmart. Those places don't bring me joy. But
Mike wears his headphones.
I know, he told me that, and if I didn't think I was gonna get murdered, I would consider it. But that's like a literal like death trap.
No one's gonna kill him. So.
No, he's huge, and that my husband's the one that was like, "You'll be fine." And I'm like, "You're both enormous humans. Like, no one is looking at either of them and is like, put them in a van."
Yeah,
And I have a headset on, and they're like, "That one,
Yeah,
that one," and then they're also going to be very wrong, but they won't know it till I'm in the van.
Right.
And then I'll tiz them out, and then they'll be like, "Get out." Get the fuck out. Who can we give her to? Where can we, is there a pound? Can we take her to it? Because
Is she chipped? How?
yeah, fuck, can somebody find her? Turn her tracker on her phone. Fuck it. I'd rather go to jail. But yeah, most of the time I'm pretty fucking happy.
So what is it about resting that makes you feel guilty then?
Because it feels like a waste of fucking time.
But why?
Because there's so much other shit I could be doing.
Oh.
So much shit to do.
How can you reframe rest as something productive for you? Like it is productive to rest. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Did it sound like it was in Russian?
Yeah, it was like Chinese.
It's fucking weird. I don't feel like that is in the same language we speak.
Yeah, I was like, boop. No.
Boop.
No, I don't like any of that question.
Well, that's why I asked it.
Yeah, well. Okay. Congratulations. I still don't fucking like it. You want a fucking cookie?
Ooh, cookies.
Oh, I do love a cookie.
I love a good cookie.
My husband makes great cookies. I tried to make some the other day, burnt the fuck out of them, and I was like, that's fucking lame.
Oh, I'm actually, out of the two of us, I'm the baker.
Oh,
I bake very well.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I make good fudge.
Probably not better than Mike's.
Pretty close.
Ooh. We'll find out. That was a horse.
Yeah, there was.
There
Yeah. I said that was second.
A second. 48 minutes later.
I was being productive and it hit me.
Yeah, is that what it was?
That's what it was. See?
Interesting. So
Okay.
you still didn't answer the part where
It's dumb and I don't like it.
can you how do we reframe it?
Why would you
So that
reframe it?
rest is productive.
If my house is
Oh,
is
maybe
built beautifully,
Mhm.
why would I reframe my house? I wouldn't. Suck it. I don't like your question. How would you fucking reframe it?
Well, okay, that's a great question because
Yeah. For you.
I didn't used to you're an asshole. I didn't used to do that. Like I would be like, no, I gotta do this, I gotta run myself into the ground. And then it was like I wasn't as productive as I could be if I had like rested, recharged, like been present with my kids, or like sometimes, so like last night, for example, I left, so my husband's out of town. He went to do a charity dinner thing, and it's just me. We don't have any, none of the kids are home. So it's just me and my really obnoxious dog. And I was like, I stayed at work till like 7:00. And then I was like, I'm going to go home. I'm not going to take my computer with me. And I can do a little bit of work on my phone if I want, but like I had a lot of things I had to get done, but I never get the opportunity to like just be.
Sometimes I do that.
Where you just sit and you don't think about work?
Yeah, I read. I read books.
It's not quiet though.
That's dumb. Are we like in fucking a POW camp? No.
Okay, so that counts then. You do like do a thing
because I
where
like
you
to read.
disconnect.
I read a lot. I read all the fucking time. So I do that.
How many books do you read at once?
3. 3 books at a time.
Why is that?
I like the variety. I like a book that's
But do you read them like all in the same night?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a certain amount of pages for each one. Tink, 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 and then I can go to bed. 20, 20, 20. And so it has to be 3 different types of books too. So like one's like a fiction, and then one is like something that like teaches me something, and then the third one can be like whatever just may fucking tickle my fancy.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, there's 20 pages.
Yeah. I like count it out and I put the bookmark and then I read it, and then when it hits the bookmark I'm like, oop, done. And then I get the next one and then the next one.
Such a weirdo.
It's like so much fun. It's like the best because then you get like a variety. It's like 3 different like episodes of 3 different shows. It's great.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do a little bit of like rest.
Yeah. And I'll do things like there's times where like especially when
Because your massages aren't restful.
fuck no, eyes open bitches fucking trying to get me in my butt or something weird.
Fucking
So like prison fucking
literally
sex.
the worst.
Well, you know, that's like one eye open. These big boys weren't fucking born for nothing. Get eyes open. Also, you're like very nakedy and you know, like all the touching. You gotta keep your fucking eyes open. That's weird.
The touching that you're paying for.
But still. But no, when Osiris is here, there'll be times where like him and Angela will be in the living room, like playing a video game together or something like that. And I'll go sit in the bedroom and just chill by myself for a little while. Because that's how I have to recharge my battery because people exhaust. Like people wear me out because like I said, I pick up all their stuff. And so like when we came back from this last trip, I was like, I love you both so much. But if you get anywhere fucking near me, I have to light the house on fire. And so, and luckily like Angelo very much knows me and knows that. And he's like, hey, I'm going to take O and we're going to go fuck off over here at my parents' house for a while.
And you're like, yes,
and I was like, whoa! And I just like sat there and like fucked with my phone and, you know, just like watched some videos and said 150 to you.
Yeah.
And pedaled it up. And then I feel better. But I think for me, like the rest, like, I guess for me, when you say rest, I think of like sleeping or just sitting there in dead silence and like fucking, I don't know. That sounds like how they would get me in a torture camp. But if you like let me read.
Yeah, I'm saying like do something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I can do
that is like
I can do that.
You know, like recharges you.
Yeah. Just being in my own bubble.
What about your bubble?
Bubble.
Oh.
That escalated real fucking quick. Glad everybody gets to see that, you pervert. See, this is why I keep my eyes open in a massage. Weird shit like that. Real rapey, real quick. This motherfucker. Wow. Right in there.
What
Eyes
did you
open,
actually
motherfuckers.
say though?
I said I recharge by being in my own bubble. Not my own bubble.
My butthole.
I don't even know how you would get in there.
It was like, why are you in your
You're
butthole?
like, what is happening? Not that.
We're not in
Not
it.
that episode.
Yeah.
Take your kids. Get your kids out of here.
Different.
Yeah.
Take your kids home.
Yes, leave your kids way the fucking home.
Oh my God, that's good.
So yeah, no, I do. I just do it like that.
That's why Mike and I travel, because we don't really ever have. Well, he has more of it than I do, which I'm slightly jealous of now because his restaurant's kind of at a point where he does not have to be there to operate, and so
And you're just starting all your shit, so it's different.
yeah. Well,
Starting it again.
Yeah. Well, and we're growing like really fucking fast, and like the second location and all that stuff, like it's just like a lot, and I don't really have the opportunity to like be at home or anywhere without people. So like in the morning, either he's there, obviously because we live together, you know, and we're in the same bed,
Yeah.
and then he, then the girls wake up and I take chickens to daycare, and then straight to work, and then all day work, and the people you saw the last time you were here, they were literally lined up at my door for me.
Yeah.
And it's like that all day long, and then patients and all the things, right? And then when I leave, it goes straight home, and it's like 100 miles an hour when we get home with the kids, or like with Mike. So I don't ever, and it's fine. Like, I love him beyond measure. Like, I'm like disgustingly obsessed with him. But when we get the opportunity to travel, we don't like do a lot of talking.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, I do 1,000 times more than he does regularly. But yeah, sometimes we'll just be like in the hotel room and we're like, snacks.
Which is so interesting because I think we're kind of the opposite. Like when we're at home, we're a little bit more quiet. And we talk about our day, and then we like go to bed at 4:00 and
Yeah.
And then it's so funny because we'll be like right next to each other, sending each other videos, ting, 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 or like showing each other something, or I'll be reading and he'll show me a video or, whatever. But like when we're on vacation, it's like more, we like have some pretty fascinating like conversations more when we travel than ever. Like we'll be on the plane and we'll have like these really in-depth conversations like throughout the whole trip. I think honestly, like when I think about like some of our like really in-depth conversations we've had or like while we've been traveling, but my husband is like, he's one of my most favorite people because he has like such an interesting like thought process and like he has these really great giant philosophical ideas and I'm like, what the fuck? So like always like, I'm like, where did that come from? And so he'll just like ding off these little like, hey, da 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 da. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? So it's kind of like, I don't know, he's like fun to talk to because other people exhaust me. And I think that's the part of it too, is that having really boring, like basic conversations irritates me. Which is why I don't like a whole lot of people because I feel like
you're a whole lot of people.
So there's only like a handful of people that like when I'm around them, I'm like, oh, that was nice. Like that felt good, or I had like good conversations, or like in-depth stuff. Like even the pod with you, right? It's like in-depth.
Yeah, it's like more like you're like
meat.
Yeah, you're like exactly. It's like meaty.
Yeah, because then people are like, oh, did you see what Jennifer Lopez did? And I'm like,
like
big ass, but tell me anyways. But whatever.
Yeah, she's really pretty, but thanks.
That also seems like kind of a bitch. Maybe I don't know. If I had paparazzi my face, I'd probably be real bitchy.
She did grow.
I mean, I'm bitchy and I don't even have. Did she though?
Yeah, Jenny from the block.
I don't think that's true. Find me.
You're getting canceled.
Yeah, definitely. It's on the
Yeah,
list. Yeah, it's one of the many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So when we give the advice for the end of our session today, what advice do you want to give? Fucking Susie, full of answers over here.
Susie, full of answers. You didn't ask me any.
In your
You didn't ask
butthole.
me any back. Yeah, no, I'm just recharging in my butthole over here. For sure. So like I said, I did not used to like recharge at all. So it's really interesting when I went from my previous marriage where we basically were just like roommates that lived in a house together. And then Mike and I do fucking everything together. We do like, we're very philanthropic together. We grow our businesses together. Like we're very like in each other's shit, which is why I think our relationship works so well. Because we don't really like, oh my gosh, we didn't get to spend time together because we're fucking busy all the time, but because we got to do that shit together. But I do have to be diligent now that I do allow myself time to recharge, that I don't allow myself to feel like, I did spend, like I said, in the morning, like from fucking 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. at night. It's like, go, people, like too much.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that sometimes I will, instead of turning the radio on, like on the way home, I don't turn that on. I just am like, it's quiet. Or if I have been listening to podcasts, I try to like be very efficient with my time. And I try to do trainings and podcasts and all that, like while I'm listening when I'm driving. And so once or twice a week, I make sure that I don't do that. And I like turn the radio on and I like listen to music. I do like little tiny things like throughout the week intentionally so that I have to do something for myself.
That's nice.
That's like why I started getting my nails done because I couldn't do them at home anymore.
Yeah.
I had to get them done, so I had to leave the house and do something for me.
I hate people touching my fingernails.
It's not the fucking point.
I just want to fuck with you.
You're the worst. Go read your fucking 60 pages of free books. That's your thing.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like that though.
I
That's
just
smart,
like
though,
because
too.
I don't have time.
Right.
to
Well,
do
and like you were
things.
saying, like if you leave the house and like you make it, and it makes it special too, is that it's like you're almost like rewarding yourself in a nice way of like care, which is nice. Instead of like doing it at home yourself, you're
Some people really like to do it at the home, but like at home by themselves. But in my life right now, my girls are gonna want to do that, and I do those things with them, and that's great. But I have to be intentional about doing things for me. Like I don't have time to do things for me. like on paper, so I just schedule it. I just do it. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like too bad. Yeah. So I just have to be really intentional. So I would say if you're feeling like you're overproductive, you're trying to be too productive, or you're like burnt out, or you're feeling super anxious, like scheduling little tiny pieces of self-care like throughout the week. That's what I would say to do.
That's nice.
Because I think that can help with like depression too, because a lot of it's like pattern interrupt, where you're just fucking stuck in a thing. And again, I'm not saying it's a one size fits all. This is going to cure your depression. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But the pattern interrupt, where you're just like, sometimes something happens, right? Maybe you own a business and you get a negative review, and then you're just on it. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. We did everything we could, whatever. It's just an example. Like a pattern interrupt would be like, put your phone down, get up, do some jumping jacks, or watch a funny video, or something that's like totally different than what you were doing.
Yeah.
To like break that.
Yeah.
The regularity of like the doubt or whatever.
Yeah. I would think too is like, like when we were talking about like with the depression earlier, is that if you have at least one human in your life who cares enough to go the extra mile, because this is the thing that people forget sometimes, is that when people have mental health issues or people have tisms and all the things, right, is that sometimes your capacity to reciprocate time to your friends can be off. And so sometimes we're going to do 10% less than you are, and it's not because we love you 10% less. It's just that's kind of the way we operate, and it doesn't mean you have to accept it.
Right.
It may just mean we're not meant to be friends, right? But if you can find the people who can accept that and know that that's just where you are, maybe not forever, but that's where you are in that moment, and can they help you when you're even less than that 10, right? They're like, man, something's off. Like, I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. Let me crawl up your ass and like really just make sure you know you're loved, right? Know that, at least hear me say,
right,
you matter, you're important, no matter what you decide to do with that. I think, and like we're always saying, like, you got to find your tribe, because you will find people that can't give as much as you can in a friendship, and you have to decide if that's okay for you, because it's not always going to work.
Right.
And for those of us who are not always great about managing that kind of stuff, it's also okay for us to learn how to be better at it. And where does that balance come in? But when people are suffering with things that are big, like depression, suicidal thoughts, that really dark space, it helps to have somebody who will go the extra mile for you when you can't, because it makes you feel less like shit, and less like you have to mask, right? Like, it's okay to sit with that person and be like, man, I haven't felt good in months, and I don't have to pretend like I feel okay. And finding those people are what really will help you to kind of dig yourself out. And then on the receiving side of that too, is that recognizing you can only do so much, and that people are going to make choices that you're not always going to love, even if it means that they hurt themselves, and that you can try and do as much as you can, but people are going to do what people are going to do, even when they're loved, even when they have support. And so you have to also, on the other side, be kind to care for yourself too, and what that looks like, because that can be a hard, loving people with mental health stuff is hard.
Rough.
It's not easy. And, you have to have a balance.
Yep.
So, so there's that.
Boom.
Suck it.
Yeah. And my advice is suck it.
My advice is bag of dicks.
Yeah. Drink in your butthole.
In your butthole.
Recharge in your butthole.
Weirdly. Exactly why eyes open during the fucking massage.
All right. Well, this was good.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want a weird animal fact before we go?
Oh,
I love to give them to you.
Please, could we?
Did you know that koala bears, have fingerprints so similar to humans that in Australia there are many crimes that have gone unsolved because they can't tell the fingerprints from human to koala? So if you're going to murder somebody, now you know where to go and get a koala bear, but not the chlamydia. So that's it. That's all I got. You're welcome.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm so happy
that I brought that to you.
I'll
try to bring you one every time.
Okay, I think we should.
I think we should, because it brings joy to my soul.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be animal. It just be some weird random fact.
Easy.
Yeah. No,
Done.
What is it? Who stores something in their armpits?
Otters.
Otters.
Yeah, they have a little pocket.
In their armpits?
No, just they have a little pocket for them to put their rocks in.
Oh.
So they can pull out their rocks and break the shell so that they can eat, and then they tuck it back in. Yeah. And as a woman who never gets enough pockets in her fucking clothes, I find that very fascinating. Yeah. Feels also like, why didn't I get a little armpit pocket? Can you have a surgery for that?
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We had a closer. Also didn't write that down. Maybe
Absolutely not.
next time. Yeah. Deuces.